Hey y'all, I'm Chas, and I want to welcome you to Heritage Acres Homestead. Here you'll find our family as we strive to live a life that pleases the Lord. We do our very best to make the most out of what we've been given, and so we'd like to invite you to come along and join us on this journey. Alright, I've been promising these pumpkin cinnamon rolls for a few weeks now through Instagram, and I'm finally making them again, so I thought I would video. So here we go. Not a lot of time for a lot of elaborate talking, so we're just going to get down to it. These are absolutely one of the best things I've made in a long time. They were so delicious. So first thing we need is our mixing bowl, and we're going to add our dry ingredients to that. So I have my 1/2 cup measuring scoop, and I need 3.5 cups of flour for a regular batch. I'm doing double. So now, if you don't remember, or if you've not watched any of my other videos, when I go to scoop my flour out of here with a measuring cup, I go into it and ruffle it around and then shake it till it's level. That way I know it's not compacted. So there's my 7 cups. Alrighty. Now I need a 1/4 cup of white sugar and a 1/4 cup of brown. So since I'm doing double, I need a 1/2 cup of each. And this is a 1/4 cup here. So there's 2 of those. I'm not packing my brown sugar in, just wiping it off. Alrighty. And then I need my yeast. And I buy yeast in bulk, and then I just keep it in the fridge. I like fill a small bowl up, keep that in the fridge and the rest in the freezer. And I need 2¼ tablespoons. I'm sorry. That's not right. 2¼ teaspoons. So 4½ teaspoons. 1, 2, 3, 4 and a half. Now I'm going to go ahead and add my cinnamon. It's 3 teaspoons of cinnamon for a double batch, so 1.5 teaspoons per batch. And yes, I'm going ahead and adding the salt in here too. I need a teaspoon of salt per batch, so 2 teaspoons. All right, so now I have my dry here in my mixer. I'm gonna go ahead and set this over there on the mixer base, and then give that a stir and mix my wet. All right, now that we have our dry in here, I have melted my butter in a little sauce pot, and it's just warm. You want it like 100, 110 at the most, because you don't want to kill your yeast. I'm gonna go ahead and add my milk in, and it's a 1/2 cup of milk per batch, so I did a cup. It's 2 tablespoons of vanilla. I want to fill that. You can stick your finger in there and it doesn't feel hot. You want it comfortably warm, you know, almost hot. So I'm gonna let that warm back up just a little bit. That milk cooled it off. And my bowl, I'm gonna put, now I went the canned pumpkin route here, y'all, because time has gotten away from me. So you want 3/4 cup of pumpkin per batch. I'm doing
double, as we've said many times. And it's close enough, so I'm just doing the whole can. I've also got 2 room temperature eggs, straight in. I'll warm that back up just a minute. But as soon as this is warm enough, it'll go straight into this. I'll cover it, and we're gonna mix it for a good 15 minutes. Now, this is not a quick roll or a quick bread. It takes a little bit of time, but it's a lot of hands-off time. Like, I'm just gonna let this mix in the mixer, or knead rather, for about 15 minutes, and then it'll rise for an hour. So I can go about doing my other things while this is happening. And so it's simple, not a lot of, intense work or anything. So I'll show you what it looks like when I get done mixing, and then of course you'll see again once it's doubled in size from rising. All right, I'm waiting on that to warm. I wanted to show you this too. This is a spritzer, and basically, instead of buying the the sprays where things don't stick, I bought this, and I just fill it up with the oil of my choice. It's always olive oil, and you just pump it and then spray it into your desired container or pan or whatever you're using. I'm going ahead and greasing this container. And the reason I'm using this one, I like these, but this way you can see the rise, and I love seeing dough rise. So I'm just greasing that up, oiling it up, and once the dough has been kneaded, I'll plop that into here, put my lid on, and let it proof or raise till it's doubled in size, and it'll take at least an hour. All right, the mixer's here. Everything is incorporated now. I'm gonna add my lid. And begin mixing. Like I said, this is probably going to take at least 15 minutes of thorough mixing and kneading. So don't rush it. Just be patient. Alright, I want to show you something. So when you're making the dough, if you touch it and it's coming off on your fingers, then it's probably still too wet. So what I do, there's no, rhyme or reason to this. It's just kind of learning how to manipulate the dough. I'm just going to sprinkle just a little bit of flour over the top. Maybe, I don't know, that's 2 or 3 tablespoons at the most. I don't even think it's that. It's probably 2 at the most. Kind of push it down off of the center column. If you don't have a Bosch, you don't have a center column. And then turn it back on and knead. I need to say this before this goes. What you want is you want the dough to pull away from the sides as well as the middle and just start forming a ball. And then when you touch the dough, you don't want it to be dry, but you don't want it to get all over your fingers. You want it to kind of spring back. I think it's gonna start doing, see how it's pulled away from the sides. And that middle, I think it's starting to pull away from the middle also. Now, when I go to touch it, see, I can poke it and it doesn't get dough on my hands. So now I'm going to consider that done, and we're going to transfer it over into the raisin bowl. All righty. Got some flour down. I'm going to pull all this dough out. I'm not really kneading it. I'm just kind of forming it into a ball because it's been kneaded enough. Right, now it's going to go into my old container. Lid on to keep the heat inside it, and we're going to let that raise for at least an hour. Now I got to clean up and go ahead and prepare my filling and my icing. Look at this dough, y'all. Look at that. It's risen so well. So we're going to, I need to get out my pan first. We're gonna get out my pan. You could put some parchment paper down, or you could grease it. I have like a silk pad on there, so that's down. Right now we're gonna sprinkle out a little bit of flour on our workspace. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. So I'm just gonna drop that back in there and work this dough. You don't want to make it too thin, but with this, it's going to rise another hour before we bake, so they will, they will plump up quite a bit. So I try to get this sort of in a rectangular shape. Because of the way I cut it, it's not going to be beautiful. But that's all right. It's still going to taste good. I'm just going to kind of manipulate the dough just a little bit. Just try to get us a good form. I'm going to take some softened butter. I'm just going to basically finger paint. I'm going to use this softened butter just to coat the dough. A lot of people like to use gloves. I think as long as your hands are clean, they're your best tools. So, and I like to feel it, because when you feel it, you know what to expect. So I use my hands. Come in with the brown sugar and just make a nice layer. And I like to use brown sugar for this. It just makes more of a, I don't know, I feel like it makes kind of like more of a caramely flavor. I guess it's that molasses that's in the brown sugar is why. And when it cooks, when it bakes, it just gets so sticky and gooey and just perfect. And it's, with pumpkin, I think it's the perfect way to make these. You can use white sugar and it's fine. I just like the brown. We'll wash up, then we'll sprinkle my cinnamon. All right, and take our cinnamon and just go all over the dough. Where's my pizza cutter? All right, I'm gonna show you how I like to roll my cinnamon rolls. I'm gonna move you over here so you can see better. All right, gonna just lightly run my hand over this so it's pressing into the dough and not gonna spill out as easily. Now I'm gonna take my pizza cutter and I'm gonna cut strips. And I'll tell you, I am not very good at keeping things even. If I was on a baking championship, I'd be in trouble. But that is okay, because we're baking at home. We're baking with a bunch of love. And it may not be perfect, but it's still gonna taste real good. So now, your first strip, just make you a little tuck right there and start to roll. A pretty little spiral. I'm gonna start lining my pan. So now I'm just going to take a tea towel and gently cover them and give them another hour to proof again. And I've got my oven on a real low temperature just so it keeps the place warm. This is a little bit cold in our house.
All right, now that everything is done besides waiting on the rolls to rise so we can bake them, we're going to go ahead and get our frosting made. And it is cream cheese, powdered sugar, maple syrup, and vanilla. That's it. So right now I've taken some room temperature cream cheese. I've added it to a bowl and began to kind of beat it up so it'll be nice and smooth. Now we're going to add our vanilla, our maple syrup, and our powdered sugar, and we'll beat that until it's smooth, and it will be ready to go once the rolls have come out and cooled just slightly.
All right, so you get to see me in my Halloween costume for Trunk or Treat tonight. I'm supposed to be Suki from the Gilmore Girls. She's my favorite character. And it just so happens that here I am baking, much like Suki. These pumpkin cinnamon rolls look wonderful. Of course, they're not the same shape and size, but that's okay. They're going to be great nonetheless. But I'm letting my oven heat, and as soon as it's heated, they're going to go in there for about 30 minutes. And here is my maple and cream cheese icing that I will slather all over the top. So I will show you what they look like once they come out of the oven and once they look like glazed. Although I may be at the church by the time it's ready to go. I may not do it here. I'll probably ice them at the church. So now let's finish up and get ready.